Women are not going through a dating and marriage crisis. Women are going through a transfer of funds crisis. No dating means no marriage. No marriage means no divorce. No divorce means no alimony and child support. Poetic justice. Men going their own way is the best thing that has ever happened to single men, and they're not giving that up. We can only just be spectators to women's success and cheer them on. You go, girl. Stay a strong, independent woman. You got this. You can do it without us. Only humility will save women in this civilization. There is a place terrifying to the proud. It is the mountain called accountability. Women's mistake of believing they have the right to be called queens. Man's mistake is humoring such absurdity. We cannot love anyone until we learn to love that which is good. Truth, honor, hope, dignity, and peace. These are good virtues, and ones worthy to strive for. Accept nothing less than these. I think this was inevitable, and can only be a step in the right direction. Eventually, all decent and genuine young men will realize the venue quality often predicts the caliber of women they'll meet. Always wondered why wealthy young rappers, producers, and BB players think they'll find an honorable life partner in a strip club of all places. Similarly, nightclubs and online meat markets like Tinder tend to yield pretty much the same meager results. Unfortunately, few people know the meaning of authenticity or integrity. Yet men are somehow shocked when they end up with a brainless one who brings nothing to the table, whether spiritually, financially, intellectually, or otherwise. Decent men and women increasingly acknowledge their self-worth and only want to share their time with people who deserve it. Women are afraid that when they're done getting done by non-committal Chad and Tyrone, they won't have a retirement, meal ticket, backup, friend-zoned average dude to turn to. Smart men. This carousal of feminism won't end until good men make it end. These women don't want good, boring men that would faithfully commit. They want butterflies and tingles and the dopamine drama hits they get from men out of their league. I think the stats are that 80% of women on apps are swiping for the same 10% of guys. It's very apparent that modern women do not want to shoulder the majority of the blame for the dating crisis that they created. Truth be told, men have not changed, but women surely have. They went through all these phases from decade to decade, and now it has reached a critical point, and they don't know what to do. Every time something was pointed out about their behavior and the way they were acting towards men, they dismissed it like, so what? All men have done differently was choose not to deal with it anymore and go elsewhere. Men have borne the burden of providing for women in every manner conceivable for a very long time. They've taken on the duty of approaching women, making the first move, and taking the initiative in every way possible, only for women to play hard to get at every opportunity, use men for their own material gains, and discard them when they notice a better and wealthier man paying attention to them. Men are disgusted to the core at how women monkey branch off to other men as a result of their hypergamous nature. A core part of female nature is hypergamy, which means they date up the socioeconomic strata. This might be great for them, but it's demoralizing for men. Imagine a guy who makes just enough money to pay his bills, put decent and healthy food on the table, have a nice car, and a decent apartment, and do everything he can to accommodate the woman he loves. He uses his life savings to buy her a diamond ring, help her settle in with him, pay for her lifestyle, and even take her on trips to other cities. He's doing everything he can to make her happy. Imagine, however, that the same woman begins to get attention from a wealthy businessman who makes more in a single day than her present partner does in a whole month. He continues to message her and enter her direct messages because he thinks she is appealing. She finally consents to meet him, and when she does, she is astounded by his money and the designer purses, shoes, and watches he gives her. By the way, the money he spends on her is nothing to him, but to her present partner, the money he spent on her was everything. Imagine that woman breaking up with her partner and spending all of her time with a wealthy billionaire. She just rejects the man who genuinely loved her with all of his heart and seizes the opportunity to date the affluent man. And guess what? After a few months, that affluent guy dumps her, leaving her adrift and pleading for her ex-boyfriend to take her back. Yes, this seems dramatic or like something from a movie, but it actually happens frequently. Men have to deal with this every single day. Men are expected to behave traditionally and treat women with the utmost respect, yet women are free to mistreat, abuse, and dump men just because they have 100 thirsty simps pining for them. While awakened anti-male feminist women argue that every profession is patriarchal and call for more women to be CEOs and leaders of organizations, males toil in the harshest environments and fields to provide for women. They never want to work in any of the professions where men put their lives in danger to support their families, though. What does this tell you? This tells us that women only want the best of all worlds. They want to be treated like queens in relationships. They want to be treated like something else in the bedrooms. They want to be treated like CEOs as soon as they walk in an office. They want to be treated like celebrities wherever they go. Truth is, women crave attention. They want validation. They want everyone to say how great they are, without having to put in any hard work. Men going on their own has resulted in an increasing number of typical guys opting to ignore women, which makes women desire men more since women naturally yearn for recognition and affirmation. While men continue to ignore them, women crave such men more and more. There is nothing wrong with discussing something that is so obvious, since we have all seen and experienced it occasionally. At the heart of it, the subjugation of men in Western civilization is evident. Men are realizing how the entire chain of systems that govern everything from taxes and insurance to law, and the economy is slowly and surely being designed and manipulated to work against them, and they're having none of it. They realize the dangers and pitfalls of being burnt in relationships and losing everything they've built for themselves. Gentlemen, I'm trying to imply that you need to be very mindful of how the dynamics of relationships are shifting at this time. Perhaps morality has evolved in the last 20 years ago. In the past, it may not have been acceptable for men and women to maintain exclusive partnerships while engaging in several relationships, but it is now the norm. I don't think it works for even a second, despite the fact that it is now so commonplace that you cannot even dispute it. This interaction dynamic has been considerably changed by social media and the pandemic that has deteriorated the state of the world economy. Modern women want men back, and they're not getting the attention from them. This is all because women have changed the way relationships work in the past couple of decades. They've made it possible for marriage to become a contract where they can win and love off of the man's resources and income for the rest of their lives. They've not realized how they can't have it both ways. They can't talk the equality talk without doing the equality walk. They can't just use men as they do and money branch off to another man as soon as they're bored. They can't just play the victims whenever they feel like it. As women become more selective in whom they want to be with, men need to be educated about what women genuinely seek in men and how men are vulnerable to their misleading techniques. Without men, society cannot and will never be functional. Men need to defend their masculinity and dispel any notions that being a man is a terrible thing, as feminists would have you believe these days. All in all, going their own way has led a lot of men to realize how their lives were being wasted away through women trying to use them for their time, energy, resources, and validation. Men have realized that the attention given to women shouldn't be free. The cold and raw truth of why men are going away is essentially men realizing that they've had enough of the exploitation at the hands of women and the society that is increasingly hostile and unfair toward them. This includes the justice system as well as media and popular culture. And after all this time, it's just preposterous that women want men back in their lives after all they've done, don't you think? Thanks for watching The Circle of Kings. As always, we're looking forward to your support. So please